knows all this, but they understand the political issue. Right now, the universe, our schools are controlled by leftists, our media is dominated by leftists. While that persists, there's a problem. You know, I think we've made progress on that front, but we're not there.
David, cutting to the chase, who would you suggest should be Romney's advisors so we can win in November?
His political advisors. I think he's doing very well. I like what's going on.
Who are his advisors? Do you know who is
I can't name them. I mean, I know some of them. You know, Jim Talent, Debbie Troy, but they're, you know, I don't know who his political handlers are inside. I promised I wouldn't mumble here. As somebody who came out of the left, when I grew up, the communist left, and I use that with a small c. I mean, my parents were actual members of the Communist Party, but anybody who called themselves a progressive was basically a communist, was a pro-Soviet. When I grew up, we were ghettoized. We couldn't say what we believed, you know, and we were targets, and we were quarantined. That was a good thing for the country. It was a very good thing for the country. I watched the left. The new left was formed by children of communists and fellow travelers like Tom Hayden, but most of the people who formed the new left were communists. And I watched us break out into the mainstream. And then when I was leaving the boat, Hayden and the other communists went right into the Democratic Party. And in the McGovern campaign, and McGovern was a supporter of Henry Wallace, the Communist Party progressive candidate in '48 himself, and I watched him take over the Democratic Party. And that's taught me how important it is to have that grassroots, year in and year out movement. And there's never been one since I became a conservative until the Tea Party. And I am hoping that this holds. The problem conservatives have is they have real lives, unlike leftists. They have real lives. They're creative. They're going into the private sector. They, you know, when you're doing a business, you don't want to alienate anybody. I mean, you want every customer that you can get. So you don't want to get involved in messy things like politics. So there was so I didn't think for a while that it would ever happen, but it's happened. And Wisconsin is a watershed. I mean, the left declared a war on Scott Walker because their, you know, incipient fascist arrangement with the state was being threatened. That's what these unions, they got a stranglehold on the state. They got to have their hands on the public purse. They fund their political machines out of taxpayer dollars. They raise the salaries of their members. It's totally corrupt. They have absolute contempt for the democratic process. They picked the fight, and they lost. And they lost on the ground, where conservatives have never really been strong. And that tells me, and that's the bright spot I see for the future. I think that Obama has put fear into ordinary Americans who understand, who are beneficiaries of the free enterprise system and the system of individual rights, and who will hold on to those American values against the left. So I'm expecting big things to happen in November. Anyway, that's my optimism. Thank you. Thank you.
For more information about the author, visit horowitzfreedomcenter.org.